There's this quiet revolution happening right now in a field you might not think about every day, getting new medicines approved. It's this massive shift, moving away from these ancient paper mazes to something totally new, smart, predictive systems that, honestly, are going to affect every single one of us. So let's get right into it. Have you ever wondered why it takes so long to get a new medicine approved? I mean, you hear about some amazing breakthrough and then nothing for years? Well, that journey from a lab to your pharmacy, it can take more than a decade and cost billions of dollars. So, yeah, what's the holdup? Well, the short answer is it's a global mess of complexity. Getting a drug approved isn't just one finish line. It's more like trying to run dozens of different mazes all at the same time, and each one has its own rules, its own language, its own gatekeepers. Now, this system is built for safety, which is great, but man, is it slow, manual, and incredibly expensive. To really get what's changing, you first have to understand the scale of this maze. Just picture it. A single new drug might need thousands upon thousands of pages of documents, all the clinical trial data, manufacturing reports, the whole shebang. And all of it has to be perfectly customized and sent to different regulators all over the world. So this really gets to the heart of the story. For decades, the whole process has been manual, like with people literally hand-compiling massive reports. It's been reactive, with companies just scrambling to keep up with new rules. And of course, it's been painfully slow. But now, a new way is taking over, one that's automated, proactive, and intelligent. And that shift, it's completely rewriting the rules. The engine driving this whole transformation is, no surprise, artificial intelligence. And we're not just talking about making things a little bit faster here. This is a fundamental upgrade to the entire system. In the industry, they're calling this new era Regulatory 4.0. And what's really key to understand here is the jump from just being compliant, ticking all the boxes, to being truly intelligent. It's all about using tech to see changes coming, to streamline how things are submitted, and at the end of the day, to get safer drugs to patients a whole lot faster. So, how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at a few examples of these new AI superpowers. Okay, get ready for this number. 80%. That's an 80% reduction in the time it takes to put together all those huge regulatory documents. That's not just a small improvement, that's a massive, massive leap. The real question is, how on earth is that even possible? The tech behind this is just fascinating. It's AI, specifically something called natural language processing, which is basically teaching computers how to read and write like a human. It can sift through millions of pages of old submissions and guidelines, learn all the patterns, and then help scientists write new documents with over 90% accuracy. It makes sure everything, the terminology, the format, is perfect for every single country. And here's what that actually looks like. A task like creating a submission dossier, this enormous collection of papers that could take a whole team days to put together, can now be done in just minutes. Think about that. This frees up brilliant scientists from drowning in paperwork so they can focus on what they're best at, actual science. And this isn't just some secret weapon for private companies. The regulators themselves are getting on board. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, is running its own AI pilot programs. And when an industry consultant calls a government program a game changer, you know something big is happening. All right, let's look at another power, pure speed. What would it mean if you could spot a critical change in regulations 60 times faster than you ever could before? Think about the impact on drug safety and just getting medicine to people. So here's how that works. AI systems basically act like these tireless watchdogs, constantly scanning government websites, industry publications, and databases all over the world 24/7. Using that same natural language processing, they read and understand everything, instantly flagging any little change that could affect a company's products. This lets teams get ahead of the curve, to be proactive instead of just reactive. So, you see how these individual technologies are incredibly powerful, but when you zoom out, you realize they're all building towards something much, much bigger. A future where life-saving medicine gets to all of us faster and more safely than ever before. And believe me, the industry is betting big on this. This chart here shows where pharma companies are putting their AI money. See that huge 50% slice? That's all going towards regulatory intelligence and predictive analytics. They're using AI not just to see what happened in the past, but to actually forecast the future. And let's be clear, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It's happening right now.
I mean, just look at these numbers. 95%. 95% of companies are already using electronic document management, and almost 90% are using real-time intelligence monitoring. The AI upgrade isn't coming, it's already here.
And it's not just the industry pushing this along. Key regulators like the FDA are actively driving this change. They started an emerging tech program way back in 2014. They just appointed their very first chief AI officer, and they've set a goal to get AI implemented across all their centers by mid-2025. That shows a really deep, serious commitment to modernizing. So if all of that is what's happening today, what's next? Well, the next frontier is where things get even more exciting. We're talking about stuff like digital twins. Imagine creating a virtual clone of the entire regulatory process, basically a crash test dummy that lets you simulate a submission to see what's going to happen. And we're even looking at autonomous systems, AI that doesn't just tell a human about a new rule, but actually starts adapting the company's strategy all by itself in real time. What we're seeing is AI fundamentally rewiring the entire nervous system of the pharmaceutical world, making it faster, smarter, and ultimately safer for everyone. It's an incredible example of technology solving a deeply complex human problem. Which kind of leaves us with one last big thought. If AI can untangle one of the world's most complicated regulatory mazes, what huge global challenge is it going to solve next?